my end.
Yeah. I want to think that we're having fun and they're missing out.
Good. Guard's killing us today.
Oh, hey, we have sound now, guys.
Oh, we got sound?
Woohoo!
So awesome. Restarting in 3,
we will
2,
restart.
1.
Hey, welcome back, guys, to DMC DIY Mixers episode 22. Today we have a special guest, Emmy from Noted. How are you doing today, Emmy?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm sorry,
how are you guys doing?
Emmy, and it's Emily.
Hi, Emmy. Welcome.
That's okay.
So
you
we
can
got
call me Emmy.
lot to talk about today, guys. We have a special flavor that we're going to talk about today. It's one of the flavors that's Noted. We're going to try to incorporate a little thing with Noted and DIY Mixers crew on our challenges that we have. We actually did it week to week, then every 2 weeks. And I think going forward, what we're going to be actually doing is we're going to be doing the flavor challenge once a month. So it gives you guys a lot of time to really work on your recipe, really to have time to create a decent recipe. That way you can put it out there for everybody. Real quick, guys, make sure you check out the chat. We have the discount codes for Bolt City Flavors and Liquid Barn. Check those out in the chat. Also, guys, if you enjoy our content, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you hit that little subscribe button up there and make sure you like this video if you enjoy this video that we're doing today. Other than that, how's everybody doing? How is everybody doing so far?
Pretty good if I have sound. I'm not sure if I have sound or not.
Yeah, I think we got sound now. A lot going on, though. What we're going to be talking about today, we got our topics we're going to be doing. We're talking a little bit about Remix Month. Folk Art had just did a Boss remix or Boss clone from Cutwood. Like I said, we're going to be going a little bit in depth with Emily about Noted on what she does there. She's a co-host on there. And there's a few other things we're going to touch on. There's a new RDA out in the market that's going to be coming up. And I know Lewis has something, some kind of new mod or new RDA, Lewis?
It's a new kit, completely different technology.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if you want to talk to me right now or maybe later.
Hey, yeah, if you want to, we can go right into that if you want to talk about that, Lewis.
Just a couple of seconds because I don't have much information. That's not really much information about it yet. It's in pre-sale in the UK, and the technology it doesn't use coils. It uses a membrane. Then that the membrane vibrates through ultrasonic waves, and it vibrates at 2,400,000 times per second, so very, very quickly. And this vibration makes vapor from juice. So the vapor has, they say, pure flavor. And no heat. It's at room temperature because there's nothing that produces any heat. So let's see what. Sorry.
Oh, do we know? It says it uses replaceable tanks, like that vibrates. Do we know if they like wear out or like how often you have to replace those?
No, sorry, I don't have that information. Only as it is on sale or pre-sale on UK, it is TPD compliant, so it doesn't only hold 2 mils of liquid, and I think we'll have to stay tuned to know a little more about this new technology. I don't know if I'm going to like a completely cold vape, but let's see what comes from here. Go ahead, go on.
Yeah, part of the authenticity and part of the pleasure is like the warmth.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be interesting. I would try it. I'll try anything twice, but I don't know if I would like it. But I'd give it a go.
You can't say you can say if you like it or not, unless you try. So
absolutely, it may be the future of vaping. Who knows?
Could be, yeah. Well, they say it's healthier because there is no metal. It is healthier, even healthier than normal vaping. So let's see.
Anything's better than cigarettes, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Don't matter. But speaking of devices, I might as well just go right on to what I was talking about. I think this is going to be kind of a hype. I don't know if it's. I guess they consider it an RDA. It's going to be a hype RDA that's going to be hitting the market. I know were doing pre-orders on this recently online. I seen it in a few forums. I don't know where I caught it first. I think it was actually somebody posted on one of the UK forums out there, and it's called the NRC New Concept RDA. I'm going to do a screenshot for you guys real quick here, and I'm going to let you guys take a look at it. So basically, when I seen this thing, I was like, this is pretty cool. I might be interested in something like this. And then I watched they have a little video out that's on YouTube. I checked out the video. Thought it was kind of a cool concept. It kind of reminded me of like the mesh type coils that you, and it has a wafer that you actually put into. Sorry, my internet connection's a little bit scratchy. It'll be coming back on. It has like this little wafer that you put in that you just pretty much have like a couple screws. You put the wafer in, and that's pretty much it. It takes the fun out of coil building for those guys that get into like elaborate and extravagant coil building, like with like dual Claptons or whatever. So
you're supposed to just wrap the cotton like around that wafer thing then?
Yeah. I mean, you guys could probably check out the video. We'll find the link for it that you guys can watch it out on YouTube. But what caught my eye with this thing here is it's a coil-free design, no wire building. Okay, that's great. You know what I mean? That takes a lot of time out of people. It's kind of like just like those pre-made coils that you would get for like an RDA, like a TFV8 or TFV12, one of those things. You just drop it in, screw it in, you're done. But the concept is you're getting that flavor that you would get, off of an RDA versus like a RDTA or like any type of a tank system. But I feel with the more innovative stuff that they come out with, you're getting those clouds and that flavor off of some of the newer tanks that are coming out on the market. So that's that. Now, the good thing about this, though, is it says you can cycle this thing up to 600,000 times.
Oops. I think we just lost David's mic.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So
you can cycle it up a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so you have 600,000 times cycle per use per wafer. Now, what got me about this is that me personally, I'm kind of like a plain Jane vapor. I use 24 gauge Canthal, and it's like 6 wraps, brings me out to about a 0.3 ohm. So my sweet spot when I vape is a 0.3. So right there, that kind of threw a wrench into things because I really don't. I mean, granted, it might be like a 0.1 or 0.2 difference in ohms, but I noticed that when I vape. You know what I mean? Because I'm picky like that. So right there, that kind of threw a wrench in it for me. And the way this is designed, and Emily was talking about this, is that the way you wick it, it's kind of like, it reminds me of those old school like heating elements that you have when you go into the woods. That you put lighter fluid in and you light them up, and they're like hand warmers. That's kind of what this kind of reminds me of. You put like that piece of cotton in it, and then you shove that top cap, I guess, over top of the heating element, and then you juice it up, whatever. But I was going to end up, $36, I think, was the cheapest that I found it online. I was like, you know what, I might give this a try, do like an
That's
impulse.
not bad for an experiment.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe doing an impulse buy, this, that, and the other. I thought about it as I've splurged on things like this, and then I told myself at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what, this is, I'm not saying it's crap, but to me, I'm like, you know what, this really isn't something that would probably, that I would use, per se. and the third strike that I for me personally against it is let me see if you read down. We were talking about it earlier today. It had the wafer was made of SST aluminum nitride.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've tried aluminum builds, or not. I'm sorry, aluminum. Yeah, aluminum nitride. I don't know if the SST stands. Would that be stainless steel?
I
I
have
don't
no idea.
Like
I'm not sure.
Daddy Kane, you're into that type of stuff, right? You know what SST stands for? Would that be stainless steel?
I have no idea.
Who you talking to, Dave?
I'm talking to you, Daddy Kane. SST.
SS is stainless. So I don't know if it's a stainless steel, titanium.
That's what I thought.
I don't know.
Maybe a stainless steel, titanium, aluminum nitride that they're making.
Pip is saying it's stainless. Stainless steel.
Stainless. Yeah, for me, I can't. I should know that from back when I used to mess with cars and stuff like that.
How can it be? How can it be aluminum and stainless steel at the same time? That
same time.
Make sense.
Yeah, they don't bond.
Plated?
They don't bond very well.
Well, I mean, there might be some kind of formula that they use to make this wafer, but the point that I'm trying to make is stainless steel doesn't agree with me. When I vape it, I get like no flavor of stainless steel whatsoever.
I get what they're doing.
Yeah,
I think they're meshing them. It's probably using stainless steel as a heating element, and the mesh, the aluminum mesh, actually holds the juice. See what I'm saying? So they're atomizing it through the
mesh. If you watch the video, it's a solid wafer.
Solid piece.
Yeah, it's a solid piece they put in there. I mean, you know what? I mean, I might end up buying one just to see what it's all about. But like I said at the end, what would be kind of cool with this is if I can insert a squonk pin in there. I don't know what the bottom of it looks like. I didn't really do too much research into it. Let me switch. It comes in clear, and that's it. It doesn't really show the bottom, so I can't tell what the 510 looks like. You know what I mean? Like if you could buy a squonk pin for it, I'd be like, yeah, okay, because with my my series squonk box that I have, you know what I mean? I can't go below a 0.4.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that it could work on that pretty decent if I could put a squonk pin on it. So I mean, I may pre-order it just to see.
Do it for science.
Yeah.
Well, Josh is saying somebody's already done that already, and it sucked.
What, squonked it?
No, somebody's already done that same technology in an RDTA.
I don't know. Like I said, I just seen there was. I think it's kind of more of like a hype thing. I seen it on the UK. I think it was Chef's Facebook group. Somebody posted something about it yesterday. It kind of caught my eye. I watched the YouTube video. Like I said, it looks decent, like for some people, but for me, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what other people think about it. Like I said, I may buy one, see what happens. But moving on, I mean, I kind of got more into detail than I wanted to about that thing. But we'll see how that pans out. I mean, a lot of people might like it and enjoy it. But for you guys out there in the chat, if you guys have any questions for me, Emily, Folk Art, Lewis, or Russell, make sure you tag us at the DIY Mixers Crew. And that way we know that you're asking us a question. But so, Emily, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. What got you into mixing? I know you're part of the Noted crew, but what got you into vaping, man? And what got you into doing your own mixes and stuff like that, and the e-juice? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, I got into vaping. Actually, it's pretty funny because I got into vaping because for my wife, like she went to the vape shop and I went with her. I was just supporting her, and she picked out a setup and she tried it for like a day or two, and then I just grabbed it from her and just started and quit right then. It was pretty easy to switch vaping, and I vaped for a few years before I didn't build coils, I didn't DIY, like I just went to the shop, got juice, did the sub-ohm, like the pre-built coils and stuff, and then I thought, you know what, I like making my own juice sounds like that would be pretty fun, but I was intimidated, I was scared. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And a friend of ours who happens to vape too, was talking. He's like, you know what? I think it'd be cool to make my own juice. And I'm like, let's do it together. That would be awesome. So like with some added courage from somebody doing it with me, we got into it, and I kind of just dove head first and went crazy. I have the kind of personality that when I get into a hobby, I just kind of go nuts, go ham. And so I read everything I could get my hands on, and I watched every video I could, and now I have, I have this weird need to get every flavor I can get. If I see a recipe that has a flavor I don't have, instead of subbing it, I'm like, oh, I gotta have that flavor because that could be the one. So,
but have you been for how long have you been mixing?
I've been mixing since July 2016, so about a year and a half now.
Awesome. Awesome. So what made you hook up with the Noted crew? I know how that was collaborated and how that came about. I know you guys do an excellent job on every week when you do your flavor tests, and we'll get into that a little bit. You guys pick a lot of like say a strawberry, for instance, and then you'll pick like 10 or 15 different strawberries. You guys test them for the community, which is awesome. And then you kind of give your thoughts on how you feel about each manufacturer that puts out a strawberry, for instance. So what was the collaboration, and what made you guys kind of click and create that show for people to enjoy?
That show actually was kind of the brainchild. That was all Graham, which is DIY or Die's like producer, Digital Drops. I had been on In the Mix once or twice, and I had helped. I'd been on live mixing and helped judge some of like the mix offs with Wayne a couple times. So I guess I was in the radar because of that. And just the Facebook group and stuff. And of course, ID10T, he's a great mixer. He was on very active on the Reddit and things like that. And then Cheapest Tea, but Graham is the one who brought us all together. And I think he did a great job, because I think we all we all have really good knowledge and work really well together. And we could dive deep with Noted, and we try to test like every imaginable flavor in that category that we can I saw the In the Mix and when beginning blending rest its soul was whenever it would do the flavor note part of that podcast, I always thought, I'm like, we need more of this. And then when Graham brought the idea to me, I'm like, I jumped on the chance, because I'm like, a whole show just dedicated to diving down in on flavors. This is awesome. Like, single flavor testing is great, but not everybody has the time to do it. And you can learn a lot from other people's notes. And I think having a show like that really dives down and gets into the nitty gritty of things is pretty good, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very valuable show.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we enjoy it. So basically, what we did is, since we talked amongst each other in the community, and that's one thing that I enjoy. And this is one of the reason why we did the B2B show, Back to the Basics, is for new mixers that are coming to the community. I think that's one of the things that they're also going to learn, besides, starting to mix and trying to come into the community. I think once they realize on how great and how friendly everybody is in the DIY community, that's friggin' awesome. Everybody gets along for the most part. People get into pissing matches once in a while, but the group that we're involved with, just a full circle, the full circumference of the community that we belong to is just friggin' awesome. And this is one of the things that we figured, since we're doing the DIY Mixers Crew, the DMC challenge that we do every week, and then it became bi-weekly, and now it's going to be monthly. We collaborate a little bit offline, and we said, what the heck, the intense flavor testing that you guys do on Noted, we figured, the flavor that they pick for noted, I know you guys have, I think we discussed this offline, Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, that you guys, when you do like the flavors, they're kind of a month in advance. Like you said, like there'll be like 4 or 5 of them.
Pretty far in advance. Actually, we follow, because ID10Ts also does the flavor of the week thread on the subreddit.
Okay.
We follow that schedule. And for some reason, he's like a year in advance with that. Like, things can change and we can move things based on like our needs or what we want or what the community really would like to know about. So things are flexible, but yeah, we've got quite a long list of flavors to cover already.
So basically, what we're going to do is, since we kind of hurried up and collaborated on this deal, the flavor that you guys talked about this past episode of Noting was a fig. So we figured, what the heck, we're going to pick the fig for the next challenge for DIY Mixers, the DMC challenge is going to be fig. So basically what we're going to do is say that they have 4 flavors that we know that they're going to do. We're going to pick one of those 4 for the month that they're going to be doing in that time frame, whether it be a fig, whether it be like creme brulee, whatever. We're going to pick one and we're going to say, okay, this is the flavor that we're going to do the challenge for, and we're going to have you guys out there that follow us and that do the DMC challenge to join in and kind of like cross between those two shows to get an idea on what we're going to be with for the DMC challenge.
Great idea. Bring this community together.
It actually takes the pressure off me a little bit, because I would sit there and think, okay, what the heck am I going to come up with on what we should do? I know I was kind of like to the point, like I think the last one was the cinnamon challenge, anything cinnamon. Before that was a coffee. I can't remember what the one was before that. Wasn't pumpkin. What was it, folk art that we did?
Salted caramel.
Salted caramel. Okay, so this is great. So basically all you got to do is, okay, note it's talking about fig. Okay, that's the next challenge. We're going to give you guys 4 weeks instead of 2. I know we were rushing it at first for 5 or for a week, but for some of you new mixers out there, that's going to be tough for you guys, and some people that have problems sourcing the flavors. Now, you don't have to, like, if you have a problem sourcing the flavors, that's fine. But I'm sure wherever you are, wherever you're watching throughout the world, there's some place where you can buy a fig, right, Lewis? There's a place where you can buy a fig, at least overseas.
Flavor Arts only.
Flavor Art over in well, that's Portugal. Is that even in the UK? It's hard to source.
UK doesn't. Chefs doesn't have any figs from Flavor. So for now, the only thing doesn't know. The range of Flavor at Chefs isn't that big.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so it's hard to source some flavors, but you can at least, like, say if they're doing give a flavor, Emily. What are you guys in the future? What are you guys going to be? Give me a flavor that you're going to be doing.
Well, tomorrow we're going to be covering blue raspberry.
Okay. Now I'm sure that probably won't be hard for you guys overseas to source some type of blue raspberry, Lewis.
And Chef's doesn't have Flavor Fig, but they have Capella and Flavor Art, which are 2 really good fig flavors.
Yeah, I have Flavor Art. Don't have Capellas, but I have. I already mixed the Flavor Art fig.
So let's talk a little bit about fig for the challenge. So fig, to me, like, when I think of fig, and Emily will probably crack a smile, I think of Fig Newtons, the same thing. I think of Fig Newtons when I think of a smile, but I guess it depends on what region you're in and how predominant figs are. I know folk art, right? You said they have fig trees.
Yeah,
down there?
I've just a couple months ago when they were in season, I had them fresh off of my dad's fig tree or fig bush. It's not very big. They grow in the South. We're kind of like on the line here in North Carolina where you can grow them. It's more of a warmer climate fruit, but they do have them here. And I picked it straight off of the bush and put it in. It was delicious. I love fig.
So is it? I don't know. I mean, I'm a layman. Is it a bush or a tree?
Well, they call them fig trees, but in this area, they're more like a bush.
Bush. Yeah, they don't get very big.
Yeah, you're down.
Here is a tree, and it can be very big. Depends on where it is, but it can be a very big tree.
That's kind of fascinating. I didn't really do any research on figs, but I don't even know where they originated from. You might know that, Lewis, because you said they're pretty predominant over there in Portugal. Fig trees.
Well, I don't know where they come from.
Well, when I think of figs, I think of fig Newtons. I mean, there's no fig trees that I know of. I live in PA. Yeah, I mean, we have apple, cherry, stuff like that, pear.
It must need a warmer climate for figs.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
fig.
Yeah, I don't think that here in Europe. I don't think that there are fig trees in Northern Europe. But here
my only experience with figs is processed figs, like in Newtons.
I'm in the same boat, Emily. And here's the thing, though, Lewis. As far as the concentrate that you have tried, you said it was flavor art. Now, what would be the authenticity of representing that fig, or what's the authenticity as far as tasting a fresh fig, fresh picked from a tree, versus the flavor art fig that you have?
That was what I was going to mention. Here there are two ways we can eat figs. You can eat it fresh, and you can eat it dry. Now that that's Christmas time coming, in Christmas here in Portugal, we always eat dried figs with walnuts, and it's delicious. Well, about the flavor art flavor, it's called fresh fig. But the problem is here in Portugal we have 3 varieties of figs. I don't know in Italy which one they have. For the ones that I get here in Portugal, it's not very authentic. Anyhow, I think it is a delicious flavor.
No,
you should use it.
That's flavor art fig.
Yeah, that's the only one I know. It's not very authentic to a fresh fig. It's not very authentic. I don't get much of a fig from it. Anyhow, it's a delicious flavor.
Yeah, this is like, I think we were doing. I think it was last year we were doing a fig. I can't remember. What was it? The yogurt, frozen yogurt. You were doing an apricot fig, or what?
I made an apricot fig, an apricot yogurt.
Okay,
yogurt.
I remember you bought fig for something. It was a recipe.
Yeah, when we start talking about recipes for autumn, for fall.
Yes.
As here we don't eat much pumpkin. You always went behind pumpkin. I went behind fig, because fig here is the figs. They come. Their season is September, October. So I went with a recipe with fig, and I mixed it with nuts. And it turned out delicious.
Yeah. So you guys are over in Portugal. You guys are more along the lines of like a fig, where in America, when we think harvest and stuff like that, as far as pies, and we're more along the lines. You guys are fig. Okay, I get it. I get it. And I think that's the reason why I bought the flavor art fig, was because of that reason, because of that recipe that you developed behind the fig. And it was flavor art. So I got the same one. And I think that's the only one I have. Because but go ahead, Emmy. If you want to talk a little bit about fig.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about fig. Let me give you a little sneak peek of our show if you haven't seen it. So figs, there's like only 4 fig flavors, and 2 of them, the 2 flavor, are very, very similar. So but they're like it's like the 3 bears figs. So you've got FA fig, which is very bright, and it can go floral, but it's a very light, bright fig flavor. And then you have Flavora fig and Flavora sweet fig, which is very dark and syrupy and spicy and musky. And then you have Capella fig, which is like the baby bear of the figs. It's right in the middle. You get that syrupy sweetness with a little bit of spice, but it's not overwhelming, and it's a little bit brighter than the Flavoras.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mixed the fig at 3%. You told on Naughty that if you go, I think it was above 2%, you got it to floral. Was that, am I right?
It can get right. When you go, over 2%, it can get pretty floral. But 1.5%, it's delightful. It's a really great. Like I said, I don't have a fresh fig to compare it to authenticity, but I really like it. It's a good flavor.
Well, let me ask you though too. Like when you were developing this recipe though too, was it for a tank or all around? Because I know when you develop recipes, Louis, I know that you try to develop it to where people will enjoy it in like a tank, like an RDA and like an RDTA. Like you try to make it to where it's enjoyable, like all around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always try my recipes in an RDA, and in a mouth-to-lung RDA.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't test it in a stock oil tank. I should, but I don't.
The thing for me, and it might be just my palate, and just because I'm not too educated on figs. To me, they just remind me of raisins. I know the grapes,
fresh off the tree is nothing like
prunes.
a prune.
Like prunes, raisins, and figs, kind of like are in a, like to me. I don't. It might even be true that they're kind of like in the same family, like as far as texture, taste. I don't know. A prune is a plum. It's like a dehydrated plum. A raisin is a dehydrated grape, and figs. I don't even think I've ever tried a fresh fig, but when I've tried like fig Newtons, like Emily, it just kind of reminds me when I bite into a fig Newton, that feeling that I get from a fig Newton. It just reminds me of like a raisin
or dried.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like a raisin to me. Like that's what
it's the fresh thing. It's completely different.
Yeah, it's like saying that a grape and a raisin is the same. It tastes the same. It doesn't. It's okay.
Not even the texture.
Different. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't even think I know if somebody wants to pop it up. I don't even know what a real fig looks like. I don't even think, to be honest.
It's shaped kind of like a pear, only it's a lot smaller.
Yeah. You can Google it,
That's what I'm going to do. I might Google it later. I'm like, it's weird. I'm fascinated about figs right now because, like I said, in the northern region where I live, I might be wrong, but I've never came across the fig tree and up here in Pennsylvania, like where I live.
Okay. Next September, come on and visit me. You'll taste it.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I might have been looking at a fig all along and never knew what it was.
Well, here's the thing. If I fly over to Portugal, I'll probably end up getting arrested and thrown into some one of your, they might think I'm some kind of terrorist or something over there. I don't know. Some American coming over to Portugal. No, I'm just kidding. But anyhow. So what is the day and time that Noted comes on for those people out there that are going to rewatch the show, or for people that are watching live? I know you got ID10T, phenomenal mixer, like you guys over there. I think that you guys have some of the best, including you, Emily, are some of the best DIY mixers in the community. So what time does your show come on, man?
Yeah, we're on the DIY or Die YouTube channel, and we come on Monday nights pretty late, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern. It's a pretty late night show, but
it's tough for me. I always have to watch the replay because 11 o'clock's like super late for me because of my daily grind, my daily work schedule that I have. I always catch it early in the morning for you guys. But so 11 p.m. Eastern for people that live over by me is when Noted comes on. And what day was that again?
Monday nights.
Monday nights Eastern. And what would it be your time? You're in the same time zone, right, as me, or no?
No, I'm in Pacific.
You're
It's
in
8 o'clock.
So you're okay.
West Coast.
So it's 8 o'clock Pacific. Okay, and what time would that be for you, Lewis? Like 3 in the morning?
4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning. So that just goes to show. Here's the thing, like with the community that we have and the circle that we have in our mixing community that we share, is we have people from all over the world, and that's one of the things that I think is super exciting. Even in Australia, I know Pippa Star. She's in the chat today. Her show is actually my time. Her show is I believe it's 7 p.m. on Mondays. And it's actually Sunday for her, I believe. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm so screwed up. Maybe she can put it in the chat for us. But I know it comes on at 7 p.m. Eastern time, my time in the United States. I think
she's ahead. She's ahead of you.
Tuesday. So Tuesday at like 8 in the morning or something for her, but it's actually 7 p.m. at night for me. So check her show out too, Stars and Clouds. That's on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States on Monday. Noted. Check it out at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So awesome. I'm very happy that you decided to join us. And you actually did a fig recipe already. So it's kind of like you're ahead of the game. I know you did a fig Newton.
Yeah, I tried... since that's the only kind of experience I have with fig, and I wanted to make something for the show, so I put together a fig Newton type recipe.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for my computer to load here. So basically, it's called #Fig Newton V1 by mlNikon. Or how actually do you say your name? Is it M?
It's mlNikon.
mlNikon?
No, people say mlNikon, but it's mlNikon. So I've been Nikon forever, for everything, since like the 80s. I used to be a photographer, and I always loved Nikon cameras. And my first like gaming handle was Nikon. But then when I got into the DIY gang, I was watching DIY or die videos and stuff, and I was creating my account. And I saw in some of Wayne's earlier videos, he was calling himself Mil Wayne. So to kind of like make fun of him, I chose my username to be mlNikon. So it's but yeah, everyone says mlNikon or whatever, or Emily, so. And
so it's actually
like milliliter, mlNikon.
mlNikon.
Yeah.
So for you guys out there in the community now, that everybody says mlNikon, it's mlNikon. So we're changing her persona. So everybody's gonna mlNikon from now on. Instead of mlNikon. But whatever you prefer. What do you prefer, Emmy? I call you Emmy, which is not right.
Emmy's fine. Emily, Nikon, mlNikon. It doesn't matter as long as it's just call me something as long as it's not, bad.
I gotcha. So I'm going to do a screen share real quick for you guys out there in the community and for you guys that are watching. So this is Emily's recipe. It's Fig Newton V1. And just by looking at it, it looks pretty cool. I like the apple filling and the apple pie.
David, can you increase the size just a little bit?
Yes, I will.
So it's not as authentic as like a Fig Newton. Like I'm having trouble getting that dense cookie, like the cookie part. But it's really delicious. So it's worth a mix. It's really good. It's just not going to be like a store-bought, like a brand name Fig Newton. It's kind of like a generic Fig Newton, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
But I used apple filling, and then I layered the fresh fig from Flavor Art, and then a little bit of the Flavora fig, because I didn't want it to. The Flavora fig is just too dark and too musky and too spicy. So I used a little bit of the FA, or mostly FA, which is a touch of the Flavora, and then the apple filling for the filling. And then the apple pie and the graham cracker and the biscuit all combined to make that I use apple pie for the crust, right? To make the cookie. So I'm trying to make it like that drier, kind of flaky, but then the biscuit adds in more of the moistness with the butter. And then the graham cracker, because graham cracker it's a dense, I'm trying to get it dense, right? It's a very dense cookie. It's a really tasty mix. It's not, not 100% authentic, but I think flavor comes before authenticity anyway.
So let me ask.
Completely agree with you, Emily.
So let me ask you this though. What about? I didn't mix this up, so I don't know. I'm actually out, even though I have it. It was the FLV apple filling. I think they were out of stock on it last time I went to go buy it. But it's a pretty expensive flavor too. From what I remember, it's a little bit more expensive than all the other FLV line, as far as their price line goes. But just by looking at it, what about, like you were talking about the butter, that stuff. What about like maybe incorporating some Capella sugar cookie? But I guess that would kind of like incorporate it with the INW biscuit. That would make it more of like a pie.
Yeah, I think sugar cookie, it might be too fluffy too.
Yeah.
Because sugar cookie is like a very soft, fluffy cookie.
Yeah. I could see why you decided to use the apple filling, the apple pie, and just the biscuit, just to get that outer. Because that's the thing about a fig Newton, you get that, like, even the authentic fig Newtons, not the generic ones. When you take a bite of a fig Newton, you kind of get like that dry, like crumbly, like just outer layer, and then you get that chewy inside of the fig. And what's grabbing my eye right here is the FA marzipan. Now, I don't own FA marzipan because I'm a fanboy of INW and Uero. You get like faint cherry notes from you. Now, is it kind of like the same thing with Flavor Arts marzipan? You can kind of get like a
Flavor Art marzipan does have a little bit of that cherry flavor, but it mixes in with the fig and the apple filling and stuff so well. Like you don't get anything other than fig, but the apple and then the cherry notes of the marzipan just mix in with it and make it, I don't know, better. Make it good.
And I can open the cap of IW marzipan and just smell it for like hours. It just has such a great, to me, I mean, I do get the cherry, but like it's so minute. But as far as like the sweet, creamy goodness that I get from marzipan, it kind of reminds me of like those like sweet, like after dinner like mints that are just it's kind of like got that like heavy, sugary, sweet, like buttery good. I freaking love it. Like, I mean, I love
that. Just like that, like stick in your mouth sweetness, right?
Yes, I love that flavor.
And that's what the fig Newton needs, because the filling is just so gelatinous and so sweet.
Yes, it is. It is, and I think it's a excellent move on incorporating the marzipan in there with those two. So you're kind of ahead of the game on the DMC challenge that we're going to be having. It is actually the first of it's like the 2nd or 3rd of December right now. So kind of works out.
You have a month to mix it up.
Yes. So this is the reason why we kind of rushed it in with the fig. I know a lot of people are saying, what the heck, fig? Jesus God, fig. But, it kind of works
challenge.
out. Yes, it's at the beginning of the month. It's the beginning of the month for you guys. So this is it, man. Fig. Show us what you got on fig. We're going to be busting out these recipes. We're going to give you 4 weeks. So at the end of December, right after Christmas, right before we hit the new year, let's pump out those fig recipes, see what you guys got. But getting on to other things.
David, could you stop your screen share?
Yeah, I'll stop my screen share. Sorry about that.
Emily, let me ask you something. Emily, how would this recipe go without the flavorless sweet fig?
I don't know.
That's the only one that I'm missing. Not only missing, I can't have it.
Did you say that FA Fig is kind of like Flavor Fig, but it's kind of like deeper? You said
no. FA Fig is the light, bright one.
yes.
Flavor Fig is the dark one.
Yes,
and Capella is in the middle.
like
So if you want to, Lewis, if you really want to mix this up, and I would suggest maybe trying Capella Fig instead of just take out the my two figs, and just add in Capella Fig. And you probably would have a good time with that.
So would you say maybe like 3% or 3.5% of Capella? Because we know Flavor is. Well, that's the thing. Flavor can be goofy. You either have to use super low or like at a normal percentage.
Let me look at my notes here. I think it's used around 1 to 5%. So probably 3.5%. I think would be good.
That's what I would say. Like 3.5%. Lewis could probably throw in Capella.
Okay.
It looks. And and I'm going to throw ID10T out there again because me and him argue constantly about Biscuit. He loves Jungle Flavors Biscuit, and I love I&W Biscuit. So did he say anything about you using I&W Biscuit versus Jungle Flavors or no?
He didn't.
He did,
but.
Okay.
But I think Jungle Flavors wouldn't work quite as well here because I get like Innerwear Biscuit, I get like the darker cookie, whereas Jungle Flavors is a little bit more lighter, and you kind of want that darker kind of flavor.
That's the thing I think about I&W too. I get more of a butter flavor out of the I&W biscuit than I do the Jungle Flavors biscuit. You know what I mean? But awesome, Emily. So you're kind of ahead of the game. So your recipe's already done and released. So awesome job on that.
She can do a second one.
Yeah, she could do if you would. Would you be up to the challenge, Emmy?
You know what?
We're throwing you under the bus. We're do another.
Sure, I'll do another one. I'm so done with figs. I'll just because I've flavor tested all of them, and plus I think we did like 3 or 4 recipes each. But you know what? I had done a figgy strap on like as a practical joke, and it was terrible for a Pexified. So maybe I'll work on making that one actually decent and taste okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll do a fig. Another fig recipe.
Awesome.
Sure.
Awesome. You got a month, so you got plenty of time.
and we're going to try our best to mix up some of these recipes that people send us and create. Yeah. I know the last one we it's hard for some of us. Well, it's hard for most of us. Any recipe that I see, I'm always missing like one flavor. But we'll try our best to mix up some of these.
Well, you guys probably get so many. You should think about like mixing it up. Like breaking them up.
I think extending the time period on for people to submit the recipes for the challenge, that gives us more time also to mix them up. You know what I mean? Like if we're developing a recipe on our own and then throwing it out there, and then you got like 25 other people throwing recipes at us all in 1 week or one, it's very difficult for us to source the concentrates and stuff like that to mix them up. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to extend that time period on that. But so getting into another topic, I know over at the DoD, this is the second time that Wayne Walker decided to do Remix Month. I think the last time he did it was about 5 months ago. I want to say it was in the springtime. I think maybe I want to say like March, maybe I can't remember, but I know it was probably about 5 months ago. And a lot of people get interested in this type of challenge for the community because not only new mixers that are just coming off a commercial juice, a lot of people in the community want to either remix #clone, because that's basically the same thing. We just kind of rebranded it. Wayne kind of rebranded it as remix, because if you're actually cloning something, it's going to be a 1-to-1 recipe. When in all actuality, we don't know if it's going to be a 1-to-1 recipe, so you really can't call it a clone. So by him rebranding it as a remix, I think that was a smart and good move by him by doing that. But he launched that, I think, at the a couple days ago, or maybe talked about it here the past week or so. Remix, and I know Folk Art just released a Boss clone. But if you want to talk a little bit about Remix month Folk Art, I'll send this over to you, and you can talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, Wayne designated December as Remix month, and what he does is he gets people that are members of his DIY or Die website. They can submit recipe clones that they'd like to see cloned to him, and he does a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of mixing to try to get some of these clones out there for people to try. And that's I think that's one of the reasons that he does it, is to get those good recipes out there. But he also encourages people to on their own try to do some remixes, and that's what I thought I'd do with the Boss Reserve Cutwood.
Well, and their remixes, not clones, because a lot of times they're better than the store version, right? So they're not exactly always one-on-one clones.
Yeah,
they're just a reiteration of that profile.
Well, I mean, it would be a miracle for somebody to actually clone a recipe without knowing what the percentages are, what they use, and all that. But
it's a lot of work.
In my mind, when I say clone, I mean, to get as close as possible to the original painted homage, but possibly making it better. So that's kind of how I went about it. I bought. This is the first commercial juice that I have bought in forever.
Holy hell! You sprung for the 30 mil.
I did.
Go, boy. How much?
How much does that cost?
About $30.
This is 30 mil for. Actually, it was only $20.
Oh, 20. Did you get it online or B&M?
B&M.
Huh.
Yeah, just my local vape shop. Yeah, I went in, looked at all the juices. But for 30 mil for $20, that's still expensive for me.
It sounds like an interesting profile.
Yeah, it is. I have not vaped that many commercial juices. When I started vaping, I went to this brick and mortar store close by that actually mixed their own juices. They sold some commercial juices, but they mixed their own. And so I never really, that's where I would buy my juices from. And so I never really vaped that many. So when I decided on, the remix month, I thought I'd go in, check out, some of the most popular juices that's out there and just see if I could clone it. And they had this pamphlet or this book that had okay, this is what this profile is. This is what Cutwood says this profile is. And so I read honey, graham cracker, banana, milk, what else? Biscuit or graham cracker. And I thought, yeah, I could probably do that, except maybe for the honey.
Yeah.
I thought, oh shit, this might be a pain in the ass. But I thought, what the hell? I'll go for it.
So I know from Cutwood, I know a lot of one of their. I think the more popular one besides the Boss is probably their unicorn milk. A lot of people chase that out in the community.
Yeah.
As far as mixing that recipe, but. So what made you decide to grab that one out of all the other commercials? Is it because it was a more popular?
Well, no, I like I said, I don't vape that many commercial juices, so I don't really know what's popular or not. I mean, I know the company Cutwood, and I know that everybody likes them, but basically I just went by that book that they had there. They had I think it was something called Drizzle Zizzle or something, I don't know. And
sugar drizzle.
Yeah, sugar drizzle, and that seemed a little simple for me. And I thought, well, I'm more into the bakeries and stuff like that. That's basically why I picked this one, because I'm more into the bakeries.
So how close did you say you got on that?
I think I got pretty damn close. I looked at some clones or some remixes that other people had done, and they were using cheesecake and
cheesecake graham or cheesecake.
They were using different types of cheesecakes. I don't really remember.
Oh, okay.
But basically what I did was I started vaping it, and I wrote down what I tasted. You know, okay, I taste honey. That's kind of the top note in that is the honey. I taste like a nut cluster kind of thing. I wrote that down. I taste a little bit of milkiness, so I wrote that down. I tasted maybe like a peanut or a mixed nut kind of flavor too in there. And I wrote down that I tasted bananas or banana cream. I just wrote that down. I thought, well, I'll just go down through my list and pick out what I think they used for it and use that. You know, that simple.
Okay.
But now the nut clusters was a little tricky because at first I thought, okay, it tastes like they almost have some peanut butter in there, maybe some peanut butter, maybe some mixed nuts. I thought about FA mixed nut. I thought about TPA peanut butter. But the more I vaped it, I was like, wait a minute, that's not peanut butter. That's something else. That's AP. That's what that is. I think, yes. I think.
Yeah, it's definitely on my to mix list because of that higher level of AP and the low level of banana cream too. I'm really interested to see how it tastes, right?
Yeah,
looks pretty good.
With the original, I didn't taste the banana much at all when I first vaped it. That honey note is so predominant. But then after I vaped it for a while, I was like, oh yeah, okay, now I'm getting the banana cream and stuff like that. So that's why I didn't use that high of a percentage of the banana cream. It's only like 4.5% in the whole recipe, which isn't very high, for flavorings, but it seems to work pretty good. All I can say, I think I probably got maybe about, I don't want to say 95% close to it because I know that's not it. I'd say about 85 to 90% to the original. That's what I think.
Okay.
But you be the judge.
That's all you need, though. You know what I mean? I'm actually going to mix it up today. I looked at it, and I think we decided on this like at the last second. I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm going to mix this shit up because I am a
AP whore.
What kind of steep do you need on this?
Actually, it's not too bad, just as a shake and vape. But the banana is a little higher than the cut wood is. So if you let it steep for about 5 days, the banana dies down just a little bit.
Well, that's the thing about AP is it's an additive, as we all know, as MIXERS. So for you new mixers out there, acetylpyrazine, aka AP, is just an additive. Kind of gives a boost to your bakeries, kind of like a nutty undertones that you kind of get from it. And if you use it too high, you kind of get like a corn chip type flavor from it. I use it in a lot of my bakeries to boost that aspect that I was talking about. But what surprised me is I've really never went over. I don't know why my lighting's screwed up now. It's kind of hard to see my scale. But I was kind of like 1%. That's the only thing that caught my eye with this being at 1% full cart.
Yeah, and I normally, I never use AP that high, but to me, AP at around 1% gives me. I know a lot of people say they taste corn chip, but I don't get that. I get more of like a nut cluster cereal kind of.
When I use it too high, I taste. Sorry to say this, I taste French fries.
You taste what?
French fries.
French fries, yes.
French fries.
Huh.
Oh, so you get like a
so
green?
That oil, like a
yeah.
Have you tried this with like tried nut mix or peanut butter or anything, or you just smelled it?
That's just like blasphemy.
This was my first try at it, and it was so close I just stopped.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's the thing, folk art. Like a lot of us, and I still do this too. You spend months and months on recipe development to make like the perfect thing, like the perfect recipe.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to actually DJ Mills the other night about this. I'm at the point now where like I want something that tastes good. Don't get me wrong. My recipes aren't junk, but at the same time, like if it's good enough, like it's close for you, it's good to you. Why do you just need to beat it against a wall? You know.
Right. Now, had I on my next version, if I do a next version, I may try to increase the honey note just a little bit more. I don't know exactly how. Possibly maybe going up a little bit higher with the milk and honey, but I really don't want to go up to 2% on that. But so
well, maybe if you use a dilution of honey, maybe you can
FA honey.
Yeah, you can maybe.
It's possible, but this to me this is close enough, kind of to the original, that if people like Cutwood Boss Reserve, they're gonna like this, and it's a lot cheaper.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot cheaper. I think it's one of the reasons. And here's the thing about Cutwood. I mean, I'm not knocking Cutwood. As far as like commercial juice out there on the market, here's the thing. Like we all know in the mixing community that we feel that commercial juices are loaded with sweetener. I think out of all the commercial juices that are out there on the market, I think Cutwood kind of does a good job as far as not really pushing the envelope as far as sweetness in their juices. Now, they kind of do push the envelope on their acetylpriazine. I've noticed in a lot of their mixes commercially, they do, and it's a distinct flavor. As a DIY mixer, like I pick it out right off the bat, just the same as you, Folk Art. I pick when I'm tasting a commercial juice. Not saying that's wrong, because like I said, I like acetylpriazine. So, for me, that's a good thing. And I think out of all the commercial e-juice manufacturers, I think that they're probably one of the top. If I was to buy one, like if it was like worst case scenario and I had to go out there and I had to buy a commercial juice because it was the only thing that was available to me, Cottonwood would probably be one of them. Because like they're not as like super sweet. They got more of like that bakery undertone type flavors that I enjoy in a mix.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I noticed too. Every other commercial juice that I've tried, and like I say, I haven't tried that many. It's just like so sweet. It's not even I can't even vape them hardly. But this one is like, hey, this is pretty damn good, and it's sweet, but it's kind of a bakery kind of a sweet. It's not just some kind of artificially jacked up almost sugar juice. Yeah.
Cereal, like I see, that's another thing too. I kind of get like a toasted. That's one thing about acetylpriazine. Not only does it work very well in bakeries, I find that it works very well in tobacco vapes also. I think it works really good in tobaccos because if you use it at lower percentages, like maybe a 0.25 or something like that, it kind of adds that nutty aspect to a juice. So let me ask you again, what was the reasoning behind all these flavors, and you not choosing some of these flavors in this mix that you decided to?
Well, like I say, when I vaped the juice for a while, I wrote down what I tasted, and I know the flavors that I've tested. I know what they taste like, and I could pick out, okay, this tastes like AP. This tastes like, but definitely 100% banana cream TFA. This tastes like. So I wasn't trying to recreate this formula. I was trying to figure out what they used in it, based on my knowledge of what my single flavor test that I've done, and that's what I wrote down, and that's how I built the recipe. So at the end, I never considered using just TPA banana or Wonder Flavors banana puree or nothing like that. I could tell what flavor that was,
Yeah, for sure. You have enough experience. You've had banana cream enough times.
Yeah.
That you can just pick it out.
Yeah.
There's certain flavors that just stick out like a sore thumb and are so distinguishable.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that's I can't always do that with any juice, but with this particular juice, it was evident that, and This may taste like shit today. David said, "You're full of shit."
You know what?
But to me, it does. You know,
I switched up my cameras a little bit. I'm trying to get this better viewing for people. I'm going to keep working on it as the weeks go on, but luckily I can read upside down because I'm actually mixing this upside down. Like I'm looking at my scale backwards. So, you know, hopefully I'm not overdosing myself on nicotine, which I think I can read it pretty good.
You're pretty talented. I have a hard enough time reading my scale right side up.
So I'm at 56. I'm at
Use
56.
use a mirror.
76. What's that?
Use a mirror.
Well, then the numbers would be.
And I can also use my monitor that I'm looking at, but then what's going to end up happening is there's a lag sometimes on my monitor. And then when I'm adding my nicotine, that wouldn't be good if there's a freaking lag in your monitor. Nicotine, you know what I mean? That's not going to be a good thing. So, okay, yeah, I mixed this up. I got to shake it real quick. Let me switch cameras here. I re-wicked. I'm going to be using the Canthal 0.3 like I always do when I test stuff. Here, let me ask you this though too. You said you got pretty damn close on this. Well, let me ask you this also, Folkart. How did you mix this Max VG like you always do?
I did. You know, but of course the cutwood is not Max VG, and
they're 75. I think across the board, from what I remember. I don't remember. I think they are.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if it says it on the bottle, but I could pick out the PG in it. So
yeah. So,
you know,
so
I kind of put that on the back burner. It's like, okay, I don't have PG and as much PG in mine, but it still tastes like it. You know. I'm sorry, Lewis. Go ahead.
I was saying that I think they usually do 70-30.
75-25.
75-25?
Yeah. From what I remember, because I really enjoy, that's why I said about cutwood. When I first started vaping, about 3.5 years ago before I started, because like I said, but 6 months into vaping, I started mixing. So about 3.5 years ago, when I first started vaping, one of their, and this is one of the reasons why I think that Cutwood is on top of their game as far as their e-liquid and their e-juice is, I don't even know if they still do it, but I know back when I first started vaping, a lot of their juices were offered in 18 milligram. And a lot of the commercial juices out there that are like a premium, if you want to call them, they're only available in like, say, 9, 6, and 3. Whereas Cutwood would have theirs at like frickin' 18. You know what I mean? I used to vape their, it was called Monster Melon at the time. Since then, they had changed their name to Mega Melons because I guess trademark infringency from Monster Energy Drink. So they had to change their labeling to Mega Melon because it used to be called Monster Melon. I actually think, I'm not going to dig it out right now. I think I probably still have the bottle. Maybe not. It's probably like 3.5 years old. But that was one of the reasons why I went to that company when I first started vaping, because I thought that, you know, they had the milligram that I was looking for and their juice was pretty tasty. Now, going back to that, I probably would never vape Mega Melons again for the rest of my life because it's so super strong as far as their melons that they have in the juice. But I'm a big fan of their milk. What is it? What's the one I was talking about, Folkart?
Unicorn milk.
Unicorn milk, yes. The unicorn milk's good.
And that's like a strawberries and cream.
Yes, and I think
cheesecake, isn't it?
Oh, cheesecake.
Yes, yes, but they even put acetyl-Prizene.
I would say more strawberry custard.
And they put acetyl-Prizene in that too, because I could taste it in that also.
Bum bum bum.
Description of this Folkart. If you guys, real quick, if you guys have any questions about this recipe, make sure you guys put at DIY Mixers Crew in the chat. That way we can answer the questions about this remix. And I seen Graham, he just posted something in the chat about Sugar Bear is Sugar Drizzle. Yes. Is that now? Graham was talking about Sugar Bear and Sugar Drizzle. Is that Sugar Bear? Is that another company? Would that be? That wouldn't be what's his name's company that we were just talking about earlier today. It was the dude from Mr. Good Vapes. No,
I don't know.
It smells good.
Like I say, I don't deal with a lot of commercial juices, so I'm
Neither
kind
do I.
of in the dark here.
Now you said you tasted peanut butter.
Well, not really peanut butter.
Because the only reason is because when I'm smelling this, I kind of smell like peanut butter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In it, but I can smell the banana.
Peanut butter banana is so good.
Yeah,
Such a good combination.
Sorry, I'm just wicking this up. It's going to take me a minute here. It's
Sure, that's fine.
got to make sure you wet the wicks pretty good.
I see a lot of Boss Reserve clone types with the peanut butter in it. So,
Yeah,
but if that AP tastes nutty to you, up let that high, that could be it. You know that.
Never dripped. Whatever. Story of my life.
Anytime that I've used Flavora peanut butter or TPA peanut butter, it's so predominant that it's. I mean, even at low percentages, it kind of takes over a mix. And I didn't taste that. I didn't taste that in the Boss Reserve. It was more of like a peanut cluster, like like those cluster cereal that you get.
Yeah, it's pretty good, bro. I don't even think I ever bought Boss before, so I can't tell you. But I'm going to tell you what I get from it, and you tell me if it's close to what it is. From this vape, I get. Let me close down my airflow a little bit so I can get some more flavor out of it because I use RDAs, so. I like it. The weird thing about this, bro, is I do get peanut. I get peanut off it. Almost not like a peanut butter, but I get a peanut. I get a peanut, a cream.
Yep.
Like a peanut cream sweetness.
Maybe from AP?
Yeah, it would have to be. Well, with the milk and honey, though, too. I mean, I don't know. Flavora, it's been a while since I used that flavor.
Oh, so good.
There's something about Flavora that I get. But yeah, dude, I get a little bit of banana, not too like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like it's in there, but I get a more of like a peanut, like brittle toffee, creamy type vape. Is that what that's supposed to? Is that what Boss is?
It's a honey with like a slight cream.
That's why I said peanut brittle, because when you taste peanut brittle, like that hard peanut brittle, you get that like honey sweetness, like you're eating like a bit of honey candy. Like you know what bit of honey is?
Exactly.
Kind of like that's kind of what it tastes like to me. It kind of tastes like you're unwrapping one of those old school bit of honey candies and put in your mouth, and you get that honey, that peanut, that cream, caramel, not caramel, but like that texture of caramel, like in there. That's what I'm getting from this juice. Yeah. So if that's what you were going after, dude, it's kind of spot on to me.
Well, they describe it as honey graham cracker, drizzled in milk and what is it? Oh gosh, I can bring it up here. Hold on a second.
It's I like it though, dude. This honestly, you redeemed yourself. As far as brother, you did. You redeemed yourself.
Awesome.
This is fucking good, bro.
Wait, what did he need to redeem himself from?
You're making me say the F word because he got mad. Oh, he didn't get mad at me, but I didn't give like his 5-star review on his pecan pie, even though people like enjoyed it. It tasted like cardboard to me, but this is like actually It's not
pretty
good.
much everything I mixed up from Folk Art, I really have enjoyed.
Everything I'm not saying. Oh Jesus! God, don't.
It's all right, David. It's all right. It's all
I
right.
don't mean to get you in trouble.
We'll strike it
It's
from.
all right. Hey,
But this is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is phenomenal, bro. It's
Okay.
really good.
So the way they describe it, it's a golden honey graham cracker with roasted nut clusters, drenched in creamy milk and layered with sliced bananas.
No, well, let me ask you this though: as long as Cutwood's been around, I mean, since you have their line, right? You have Flavora's line.
Yeah.
How long? Milk and Honey hasn't been out that long.
Well, Flavora hasn't been out that long.
I'm saying is when Cutwood first came to commercial sales with this, I don't think Milk and Honey was around back then.
Yeah, and that's I thought about that too, but you know, that's when I single flavor test stuff, I know what a flavor tastes like. You know, you can substitute other flavors for it. You know, they might be using some type of honey at a very, 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 very low percentage. But
or they could be using proprietary for all we know.
Exactly. You know.
And
I'm 100% sure that this is not the recipe. But all I'm saying is that
it's pretty darn close.
It's pretty close. Yeah.
I tell you what, it really tastes like, to me, it tastes like old school bit of honey candy. You unwrap one, throw it in your mouth, chew it up, and that's exactly what it tastes like. I get the sharp kind of like corn syrup honey type flavor with the faint peanut creams. It's very well balanced. It's yeah, dude, it's good, man. It's really good. I enjoy it. Like I made a 60. I wish I would have made a 120 of this. But the only thing that my concern would be is the steep. How well, I know Flavora will probably stand up. Their Milk and Honey will probably stand up to this. As far as the banana, I know the INW biscuit's going to stand up. Mm-hmm. The Flavora Milk and Honey is going to stand up. The only thing that I would worry about is the banana standing up to all those strong flavors like acetylpyrazine and those dominant flavors in this mix. That would be my only concern, is that banana standing up to those in the steep. Because you know AP is going to stick throughout. Right. You know what I mean? And I don't believe in fading. I believe in having well-balanced recipes. And if the flavor, like, I won't get into it. But anyhow.
Wait. You don't believe in fading?
No, I believe in it, but I don't believe in it. And we've talked about this offline. I'm not going to get into it. We can talk about it on after the show. But it's just the way the fading is a term to me. Okay, yeah, it fades, and there's a reason. It could be to explain it a little bit, and the way I believe it is, it's just the way the flavor molecules react to one another in each concentrate. They're more like a flavor molecule might be more dominant, say, in the milk and honey than the flavor molecule in a banana. So when they react, the flavor molecule in a milk and honey from Flavora is going to overtake that banana and just diminish it.
Well, so that's one thing that I noticed about the Cutwood was that when I first vaped it, I didn't really get any banana until I started. Until I saw that, okay, that's part of the profile, and really started thinking about it. Really started thinking about this. Like, oh yeah. Okay, now I taste the banana. You know.
It just, and like I said, we're kind of talking offline to a couple chemists and stuff like that about this. Is just getting back to that point. Like, I feel that the flavor molecules are just overtaken, and that's what we call like fading in the community. But I think that it's just that they're just so dominant, like they just cancel out after they sit in that mix for so long. It just it overtakes it. But anyhow,
sorry, David.
Yes,
David. Sorry, let me tell you something that I forgot when we were talking about fix. Let me come back.
Yes,
a little bit about fix.
We're done with Folk Art's awesome mix. But go ahead.
No, just very quick. Flavor Arts after 3 weeks, 1 month, more after 1 month, starts to fade quite a bit.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, that's my experience. It does.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk more offline on that stuff. But real quick though, folk art, I could see why you got so many views on this recipe, on all the flavors. If you guys just looked at it just to say, okay, this is what folk art put into this mix to reach the boss clone, it's a freaking good vape, man. Like, I really enjoy this. It's been a long time since I had a banana vape. Like I said, I know that the banana is probably going to tame out a little bit after a couple days, but yeah, dude, this is really good, man. I enjoy it. But real quick, guys, before we get out of here, if there's any more questions in the chat, feel free to ask those. I know we're kind of running over time. It was funny because after I mixed the recipe, I think it was like 5:30, and we're pushing up on 6 o'clock. But anyhow, real quick, if you guys got any more questions, feel free to ask them. Make sure if you like this video, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to us. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year. We got something special for you guys if we do reach that point, but I'm not going to say anything. It's going to be a surprise. So make sure you check us out on Facebook. Reach out to us on Facebook. We have our Discord. Please reach out to us on Discord if you have any questions. No question is a stupid question for you new mixers out there. Feel free to come in, ask anything. Anybody will be happy to ask any questions for you. Make sure you tune to Noted and Emily if you want to take it from there on what day and what time you guys are on.
Yeah, Noted is on Monday nights on the DIY Die YouTube network, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, awesome. So make sure you check out Emmy on there. Thank you so much for stopping out today, Emmy. Also, make sure you check out Pippa's show, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays. And make sure you tune in on Wednesday for all you novice mixers out there. We got B2B, Back to the Basics with DIY Mixers Crew, where we walk a lot of the, all you novice mixers out there, we walk you through the trials and tribulations of new mixing. We sit there and try to teach you the ropes. That way, in the next couple weeks, hopefully you'll be out there creating wonderful recipes that you could share to us and share to the community. We can give them a try. Other than that, that's all I got, guys. Make sure you check out there should be the links in the description and I think on YouTube, right, Folk Art?
I've got all the links to everything in the description, and also I threw them up in the chat there. So
awesome, guys. Awesome show today. Thanks, Emily, for stopping out today. Make sure you guys check out Noted. Also, check out Graham's show, Digital Drops. He has the Stopgap show, and that is after In the Mix. And that, I think In the Mix actually went back on YouTube.
If you guys like crude off-color shenanigans, the Stopgap radio show is where it's at.
Show. That's after In the Mix. So make sure you guys check that out. Other than that, that's all I got today. Guys. Other than that, man, awesome. Loved your mix, Folk Art.
Thanks.
Thanks, Emily, for coming.
Thanks
Emily. For having me, guys.
Enjoyed it.
All right, guys. Hey, you guys take care, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chuki beat.